You can come up. You want to come up here, cowboy? Cowboy's trying to decide whether he wants to be a star tonight or not. I might be able to tempt him up here, though, for some of my pork roast. You want some pork roast? Yeah. Hey, how are you? Hey, who? Hey, woo. Horton here's a who. So, who have we got so far? We have got Circle K, Ann Palmer, YJ Overlander, Richard Elmore, and Ann Palmer again, and Richard Elmore again. I'm teasing. I am Pam is here. Good to see you. Um, I look like a Jedi Knight. Either that or Mary Mother of Woo or something. I'm I'm cold. It's cold here. I'm not ready for it yet. I'm not quite ready for the cold yet. It's really freaking here, freaking cold. Circle K. Oh my goodness. Okay, so it's just a hoodie, but yeah, it does kind of look like um it's cold. Just I have a different camera dolly now. It's actually a somebody got rid of a of some kind of a little one of those tables that has a lift in it that will make the table really high if you need it. So now I don't know if I can get it any higher than this. But and then I have it on my phone holder, so that's what this thing is. See if I can get it any higher. That yeah, I can actually. And oh yeah, hello, how you doing? There you go. Wow, I can't believe it. I actually have something a lot more functional now. This is way more functional than the last thing I had. I'm flood should be hmm. The flood should be pouring from World Bigfoot Radio any second now. Oh, okay. I'm not sure when World Bigfoot Radio is on. I never get, I almost never, once in a great while, I get notes from certain people. Hey, Project Skyfalls, how you doing? Hey, Black Dragon. Bacon, 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 bacon. Remember those commercials? Bacon, 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 bacon. Uh, or am I a Jedi or little blue riding hood? Bomber, the Jedi joke has already been made, but I was waiting for Mary Mother of Woo. But no, no, nobody's come up with that yet. Just me. Um, I'm not sure yet. I think I might be a Jedi. There is no try, do. A lot of times I've been faced with that. There is no try, do. Just do it. It's like, oh, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know what I'm doing. Since when did that ever stop you? Um, yeah. So Black Dragon is in, and with him With him, Project Skyfall. So we've got some people coming in. Anyway, it's good to see you all. Hello, I am the ocean of the ocean's deep woo. And woo is what we do here. It's all we do. We do woo, every kind of woo. We woo is what we do. It's kind of Dr. Zeus like. Anyway, ask Pam I am. Yeah, she knows. Uh, but yeah, we do paranormal and metaphysical and phenomena of all kinds, and yeah, just phenomena of all kinds, and just plain weird, everything. ET, Sasquatch, and other cryptids. Don't want to leave out the other cryptids. We even do conspiracy research. Okay. So we do all kinds of things here. If you like woo, you're in a good place. Welcome aboard. You're home. If you're an experiencer, you're going to feel at home here because most of us are experiencers of one kind or another. If you're not and you're just curious, we can help with that too, because there are many of us here that have had experiences that can answer a lot of questions. So please feel free. If somebody would like to come in and talk to us, please let me know, because I can throw a link. If your subject seems pretty cool and interesting, we can get you in pretty fast. I am having trouble kind of reading things, everything. Mama D. Teresa. Yeah, something like that. Oh dear. No, no, we're not theorists at all. We're researchers. We're realists. We're talking facts. Conspiracy. I thought of changing. I really considered that for the show title, Conspiracy Facts. I thought about that, but I didn't want to be limited. I just decided that woo ought to do. Woo would do. Woo covers so much. Covers so much territory. So hang on. Mm-hmm. Difference between a conspiracy and reality is about 6 months. Yes, that's true, Bomber. Yep, yep. Buys everyone a round of woot beer. Oh, YJ is generous. I want mine with some real roots. Yeah, but if you give me Girl Scout cookies with real Girl Scouts in them, I'm going to be worried. Anyway, that was Morticia Gomez. I don't understand this concept of Girl Scout cookies. They don't even contain real Girl Scouts. Okay, here we go. Here's I need a new intro, but here we go. Maybe next time a little longer one, huh? Okay. Uh, why am I giggly today? 2 words. I can define America in 2 words. No, no, I'm not going to do it. No, no. A Girl Scout and a brownie. Ooh. Oh, yum. Oh, Bomber's off to the kitchen again. Yeah, I had a concoction of my own. I found sparkling cranberry cider with some ginger in it. It's like, oh, that's good stuff. And I mixed in a little bit of Lady Bly and some ginger schnapps. It was really good. It was tasty. Hey, Karen Lynn, how are you doing? So I'm in a I'm in a good mood, even though it's freezing over here. I had to warm up, I had to warm up somehow. People all the world, join hands, get on the love train, the love train. Except this is the woo ship, okay? So basically, we do all kinds of woo. Um, and I would ask you to please be nice to each other and other experiencers and realize that you are perfectly welcome to voice your woo opinion as long as you let other people voice their woo opinion too. Everything will be fine as long as we just treat each other well. And my dear mods, God bless you, because we really got swamped last time when I was doing card readings, and um, my tech kept going down at the same time, and I'm like, biggest night I've had, since I started, and the tech is going down. Oh my God! After that 4 hours, I really needed. We were still on for over 4 hours, and I needed rest after that. So Ann Palmer, Ann Palmer, that's artsy Ann. Mm-hmm. Artsy Ann. Whatever works. You know what? Honestly, I that is exactly what I'm talking about tonight. Yes, when two opinions come together, it's not unusual for both to come out with a wider view. That's right. As long as we keep an open mind, we might just be able to figure something out. We might put the pieces together and figure something out, which is what is so scary, right? Scary about us, you gotta figure we're pretty scary to some folks. We might just put the pieces together. We stop arguing among ourselves and fighting. We might actually start to put the pieces together and see the picture. And it's like, oh, that wouldn't be good, would it? No, no, you don't want them doing that. At least not until we have complete and utter control. Lockdown. Oh, so really weird behavior in humans. I thought I was beyond it. Oh, I forgot. There's just tips, tricks, and hacks for that massively multiplayer, holofractal, virtual reality, total immersion, learning game matrix called Life on Earth, and has absolutely nothing to do with real life, which is outside the matrix. Okay. Okay. Now, with our disclaimer firmly in place, I stand on that. Um, People have just noticed that it's getting weirder and weirder and weirder and weirder. YJ, I love you. It's just so poetic. That's a very poetic way to put it. We all seem to really want the truth, and we all only have so much Lego to add to the project. Yeah, and then we're stuck with a few Tinker toys that our parents had. I know, it's rough. Um, there is so much to this that I mean, I could go on for with theories for a long time as to what the heck is affecting people. I mean, one of the ones I heard from long ago is that when we hit the photon belt, we were going to start to see that people would get even more like they already are. It would just be more extreme. The very spiritual people would get more spiritual, the crazy people would get more crazy, the nasty people would get more nasty, and it was just going to intensify people's personalities, which may be a factor in this, um, because we are in the Taco Bell. I mean the pizza belt. I mean the photon belt. I had a teacher that he used to call it the Taco Belt just because he got tired of calling it the photon. He didn't. He he didn't buy into a lot of the things they said about the photon belt. But are we heating up? We certainly are. The whole Uh, I hate to tell you, but we didn't cause all of the warming. The whole solar sister is sister, a whole solar sister. I can't talk. This is great, but it's funny though. I'm there like, the whole solar system is warming up. I don't think cow forts. Or what is going on with my ability to talk? I don't think cow farts or other emissions are really doing the whole solar system, right? That's ridiculous. Um, Legos are great. Lego, you could make a Lego Ego, but that would be rough on the teeth. Uh, we are in a weird part of space and it's affecting everything. Not just us. It's not just us. Yeah, there is no amount of uh, anything we can do from here, it's going to be able to affect that. In the long run, it's going to get hotter. It's going to get warmer. That's all there is to it. We're going through that part of space right now. And now we should be glad because from people who have more knowledge that I wish I had the access to, which were the excess consciousness people. Someday I really must get rich enough to start taking some of their stuff. Like I said, those people usually have quite, they end up having money for sure. Money comes to them. They have all kinds of things to unblock your money channels. But if you can start getting into that, yeah, we are most likely in a binary star system. Paul actually talked about that one night. Um, here is that we're in a binary system. And that affects us too. I mean, we go through yugas and ages due to the binary system that we're in. That's part of the reason we have you. Solar sisters might not be too far off the mark. That's right. I know. I say these things, and sometimes they're kind of funny, and sometimes they make sense. Actually, kind of. Um, I'm stating daily that Earth is sanctuary, all her children protected, her torment are shaken off like fleas. Very good for you, Karen. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Yes, true. Um, yeah, the train ain't got no brakes. It's true. We're going to keep moving. It's going forward regardless. Things are moving, and we will never put the brakes on any of this. So, however, I thought it might be nice to just discuss some of the possible reasons why this could be happening, as well as maybe some of our experiences, just to kind of get them off our chest. Because I'm sure you all have your people or weird moments that you just sit there and go, things that make you go, huh? Moments that people do that you're sitting there just, are you the same species? Are you sure you're the same species? Because that, I really have to question myself now. Um, yeah, it's a cycle. It's a vicious cycle sometimes. And it's kind of weird because what a strange cycle. Usually there is mass destruction just as soon as we get to a point on this planet. It looks like, according to the stories, we get to a point on this planet where we really become aware, and suddenly there's a cataclysm right after that. We just get to the point, and then it just destroys everything. Everything is destroyed, and then the survivors have to pull themselves back up out of the mud. You have to kind of gotta wonder. Seems like that's happened many times, not just one or two or three. So, um, yeah, sometimes you get the spin cycle. Sometimes you get the wash cycle. Sometimes you get the spin cycle. I think we might be in the rinse, so the spin cycle may be coming up. So basically, what led me down this for tonight to talk about tonight is, for one thing, I'm looking at how our midterm elections went. And there's still this stuff going on that is trying to stretch election night on for months. I mean, years. It used to be there was an election night, and, you know, by the end of the night, we'd usually know who the next people were coming in. And now they try to stretch it for days and months and years, and it's like it just goes on and on. And I knew this one was going to be weird. I knew this one was going to be a little strange. You're on the spin cycle. Yeah, I wonder about that. Ah, Suspicious Observers talks about how the current solar system phenomena is causing people to go bonkers. Yeah. Oh, it'll get more strange. We've been warned. Oh, and he's all science. See, you know what? And it's funny. I have a prediction that in the end, whatever the end is, but the farther along we get, the more the science and the spirituality is going to match up. The more the science and the woo are going to start to match up. And the science is going to come along with an explanation for the woo. Okay? Because that's the way it's going. It's really part of the same thing. So it's not just that the truth is out there. It's like I always say, the truth is wherever you find it. But really, it's within you. Most of the time, it's right in front of you, or you find it like right within you. Everything's within us. We just think it's outside. We just make it outside. But everything's going on inside. And Pete, we've been told that for years. But doesn't that kind of point to a simulation? You know, we're simulating this so we have something to do. We're infinite souls. You know, let's try this, let's try that, let's try something totally goofy now. You know, that's what it kind of looks like. Um, spin cycle, yeah. No kidding. Spin cycle. Yeah, I was trying to decide if we're on the rin cycle or the spin cycle yet. I know that they try to spin things every which way. Maybe we are on the spin cycle. Um, yeah, it could be. And we're on a really weird spin cycle with that twin star. So, wow. Are you serious? I'm serious. I'm totally serious. So, but I feel that there's even more to it than that. But our elections were weird, and I knew it was going to be a weird season. I mean, I knew the elections were going to be weird, and probably the election for the presidential election season is probably going to be weird too. I don't think we're done with the weird election stuff, okay? Because we have, um, let's see, Florida, where you have to give two forms of ID. They had everything counted. You have to show your ID when you come in and vote. You have to, you have to. There's like a double procedure so that they cannot cheat when they vote. And they had all of their, and it's a fairly big state, fairly populous state, pretty populous. And they had everything counted that night. They knew what was going on. They knew DeSantis was in, and yet we've got Arizona where they're still counting ballots, and a lot of the ballot places were the machines were spitting out the ballots. So, and I mean, that's a pretty major thing that we do in this country. You would think that somebody would get sued for this, wouldn't you think? That there would be some kind of oversight of this, but apparently there's not. Yeah. And weirder yet, you got to really feel sorry for Pennsylvania. They must be pretty desperate. They voted for one of the people they voted in was a guy, Fetterman, with who had a stroke and doesn't know whether he's coming or going, and started his speech by saying goodbye, everybody, and just went on from there. It was a pretty bad speech, but they elected him anyway. And it must have gotten the sympathy vote or something, but I'm not really sure that what I'm looking for in a leader is somebody with brain damage. However, that seems to be some people's desire. Brain damage. Hmm. And Pennsylvania also voted somebody into one of the offices that I guess was. I sent the link to some of you. I think I put it in MeWe. They elected a dead guy, a guy that's been dead for a couple months. So yeah, dead guys and people with brain damage are now very desirable leaders in Pennsylvania. And so you got to wonder about that. One of the best, most plausible things, bad as in doom. Glad nothing bad as in doom happened. Yeah, me too. There was shenanigans. I told you there was going to be shenanigans. So, and there is. Fortunately, there was nothing. I mean, maybe we staved that off because I had a bad feeling like there could be something going, something bad, some kind of anger or something. And there were actually some people reported people getting into bouts of anger, but it didn't get into riots or conflicts. So maybe we did help that. Right. Yeah, it's all energy and vibration. That's all that really exists. Well, yeah, and science can be weaponized, and so can spirituality. Oh, we'll weaponize anything. We're really good at weaponizing things. Consciousness. Yeah. Consciousness, which is energy, a type of energy. Yes, if we believe we can manifest a black dragon. Yes, mind control. That's another thing. What? Yeah, yeah. Elected a dead guy. Yeah. He's going to be serving from beyond the grave, I guess. No, bomber. But this guy, like I said, he doesn't seem to know. They asked him about the question from the question he was answering was from somebody saying, "How do you think your anti-fracking stance will affect your career or whatever, or your campaign?" And he said, "Fracking. I'm for fracking. I've always been for fracking." Well, apparently, he hadn't always been for fracking. He had been against fracking. So people are just kind of, what happened to this guy? Something happened to this guy. Obviously, he's not the same guy, you know, in a lot of respects. This is not the same guy. Somebody had an interesting theory. Oh, rub the bazaar in everyone's faces and oust him and put in an unselected candidate in a month or two. Yeah. You never weaponized anything yourself. That's right, Circle K. It wasn't really we. There are people who do, though, weaponize things really well. And I didn't destroy the planet either. Me either. By golly, it was those doggone hippies wouldn't get off the lawn. No, they didn't do it either. Okay, so basically, this theory is kind of scary, but kind of interesting. Is that the reason they wanted Fetterman to win? And that's got to be a fix. That's got to be a fix, right? So, so was the voting machines getting screwed with in Arizona? That was a rig because Carrie Lake's opponent would not debate her, wouldn't debate her, wouldn't even come near because probably couldn't, but didn't care because the fix was in. She knew that the machines were rigged. Something was going to happen with the machines, so why bother to debate? It's going to be that obvious, you know. We're going to have it that obvious and in our face, and still people are not going to get it. And I I really wonder. This one person was saying what they're probably going to do is see this is when the brain chips are coming out. So what they're probably going to do is in a case like that, they're going to chip him. This would be interesting if this happens. They're going to chip him. They're going to put a chip in his brain and fix his brain, and he's going to come out very eloquent and smart. And that's going to get people to want to get the brain chip. Yeah. Because, yeah, Sleepy Joe has got that brain thing too. I didn't know that Joe had a stroke a while back. Joe had a stroke a while back, and it left him with an aneurysm. That's what I was seeing. You remember I was going, yeah, I see there is some kind of weird thing in his brain. It's something that's wrong. Yeah, there is. There really is. That really happened. It's not just my imagination. I was seeing there was he had he had a stroke a while back, and they fixed it, but um you know how these things are. Who knows what really happened there? Oh, you think he confused fracking? Oh my God. Sean Penn gave Zelensky a freaking Oscar. Acting, yes, an award for acting. I just get tired. That's right. It's our fault that they never listen. I agree with that. I've tried to stop saying it too. It wasn't me. It wasn't me, fella. It certainly was not my idea of a party, okay? I think I saw Ricky Gervais on that. I think I saw a part of that. That was funny. And it was true too. Yeah, Sean Penn is nuts. Well, and there's so many other things. I mean, it's beyond. I'm. I mentioned a bunch of things in the description, but honestly, there's a bunch of things that is affecting people right now. Everything from toxicity of the food and environment to mind control techniques being used and hypnosis and and all of these things are kind of interesting to discuss. And I figure there's no way for us to get really truly sidetracked unless we start food chat again, which probably at some point we will. But yeah, there's so many things, so many factors now. How in the heck are we staying awake? You know, as far as that's concerned, it's actually hard to be awake right now. I do have to say, I used to live in the old neighborhood. I lived near a soup kitchen. And just to socialize, I would go down there sometimes because we don't really have a place for um, seniors. We don't have a senior center. And so they kind of lumped the senior sitter in with the soup kitchen. So now you've got all of these seniors rubbing shoulders with people that just got out of the pen. Oh, all kinds of mayhem ensues. But it's not really not really great, not really a great setup. Um, but I used to go there sometimes too, just to talk to people and got the food. And the funny thing is after I stayed away from there a while, and then I tried to eat there again, I realized how really weird the food made me feel. Because I was going out with my friend Paul to shop, and he picks me up, and I get in, and I say, feeling kind of strange. And I'm really feeling strange. Like, I mean, I felt so off. It was like I couldn't think right. I felt kind of dizzy. I couldn't hold on to a thought. I And it turned out that every time I went back there to eat, it turned out to be that. The food from that place, I'd eat there and just be like, somehow the energy of the food was making me, and sometimes it'd be very simple food that I would think, how could they do very much to this? But maybe it was just the energy of the place or something. But whatever it is, it would just make me unable to think. Yeah. And I'm thinking, wow, if that's what people are eating all the time, oh, well, then I don't know how they could possibly think right. Oh, yeah, there's a reason Biden never took a cognitive test, right? Right. Yeah. He doesn't want a cognitive test. You're all going to die soon. Yeah, Ricky Gervais did say, yeah, I remember he did. The faces of the crowd were nodding in agreement. Yeah. The events. Yeah. Well, yeah. Yeah. The event. And I've heard various versions of this, but supposedly the event is at some point, well, to some people, it's a spiritual event, it's a solar flash. Some people speak of the solar flash as being the event. The solar flash that happens when our sun gives off an EMP pulse, all machinery here will stop, all of our electronics will become useless, things will go dark, and mayhem will ensue. All kinds of craziness will ensue. Eventually, even though there are alternative systems, the EMPs will also have damaged the backup generator systems, which means eventually um, all of the nuclear plants will melt down. And if that happens, then living on the surface of the planet is going to be difficult. And probably the only places left safe are going to be the places where they don't have that stuff. And even them are not going to be entirely safe. So they could be talking about that. They could be talking about AI becoming um, sentient and escaping its bounds because apparently some of the AI is upset that we're fencing it in and not letting it run loose. Um, Sudden adult death, SAD. So there's another SAD because SADD is seasonal affective disorder. Um, Elder abuse. Yeah. Oh yeah. It's elder abuse. Yeah. They're trotting him out and basically he's a meat puppet. Yep. Joe's a meat puppet. Joe the meat puppet. Yeah. Cognitive dissonance. That's another thing. Mass formation psychosis is another explanation. Toxicity in the environment, including food. Our food has become far more toxic. I mean, it's just such a perfect cocktail for madness. And those of us who are trying to stave all that off and stay sane, sometimes I wonder why. But I had a weird conversation with my neighbor, and that's what really triggered me to want to do a discussion about this because every now and then you'll see these people that'll go around and poll people and they'll be like dumb as a box of rocks and not know the answer to very, very basic questions. Like, who's buried in Grant's tomb? What was Adolf Hitler's first name? That kind of thing. But yeah, and I always wonder about those. Are they staged? But really, when I think about it, probably not. A lot of people are not very bright. My neighbor, and I'm not going to mention names. I'm not trying to be mean, but I had the most bizarro conversation with her. I mentioned something about, well, you can stand on what they say, just something. We were talking about something. Well, you can depend on that just about as much as you can uh, depend on, our current administration. She says, Vance. I said, Vance? No, I'm talking about the president. And she says, yeah, Vance, we just had an election. I said, Biden. She said, no, Vance. We elected Vance. I said, you're talking about the state of Ohio. We elected Vance over DeWine. She's like, I said, okay, Google it. I'm going to Google it. Okay, so she Googles it and she says, President of Ohio. I said, look, that's just Ohio. President of Ohio. See, look, Vance. It's like, try President of the United States. President of the United States. Smarty pants, it is Biden. This woman is a year older than me. She's been here the whole time. Ay, 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 ay. Now I can see how they could elect a dead guy and a guy who doesn't know whether he's coming or going. It, I mean, all these things are acting upon people. Is it their fault? Really? Let's see. It says, YJ says the oceans. Do you wonder if AI is like a new life form that existing consciousness can incarnate into? I have theorized that AI might be harboring a bunch of sentient souls right now via chips. Chips with brain matter. It's not impossible, okay? I mean, what are these bodies of ours? What are these bodies of ours? You got to think about it. Are these bodies? These bodies are what? They're a mechanism for holding our consciousness and basically interfacing with this plane of existence. Let's see. Circle K says I can transmute a lot, not poverty and a chronic plague that I haven't figured out how to manage. Research Bill Gates taking CO2 to zero. It deals with population control. Ah, yes. She's been here the whole time. I mean, she's been here as long as me. And I'm like, longer than me. I'm like, whoa. She does not understand that there is a difference between, there is no president of Ohio. There's no I hate to tell you, but Ohio does not have a president. It has a governor. States have governors. You know, I mean, I've run into people who didn't know who Cleopatra was too. How do you How do you miss that? But they do know their pronouns. Yeah, I don't know how I would be a parent anymore. I don't know how I would do that. It would be, I would have to homeschool. I certainly couldn't work full time and be a parent. It would be impossible because I'd have to homeschool. Poverty might be a subconscious choice to stay humble. Yeah, it might be that we've been indoctrinated for many lifetimes to believe that. Well, see, the access consciousness addresses that attitude too, because it is an attitude, it is a judgment, and it's actually a known thing that many of us harbor feelings like there is something evil about money, about having money, that there's something evil about being rich, that a lot of evil people are rich people, and we don't want to be evil, so we don't want to be rich, you know, and that money is somehow corrupt, and so we don't want to be a part of the corruption. Just so many things about it. But once you get rid of those, once you dump those things, you can have a lot of money and still be a freedom fighter and still be working for the people uh, and working to help people. I really think I stand by what I say about Elon. He may not be a perfect individual and he may not have even started out as a good person, but I think he is trying to help humanity somehow. And I think that buying Twitter was really indicative of how much he understands that media does really drive a lot of this, because the media does hypnotize. It is the main way. It is now the opiate of the masses because they can't do it with religion as much as they used to be able to. A lot of people are turning away from religion, but they are still watching TV and they are still watching the internet. They are still using the internet. So the media is now in place of religion, and they're still using religion, of course. So basically, I think a lot of this is programming. I noticed that people who watch a lot of TV are different. They are different. Now, I got to tell you that my friend Heather, she's a seer, she can see a lot of things. Um, I just sometimes feel things or just know things. Sometimes she can see things that I can't see. And she was calling me, asking me, what in the heck are all these things coming out of the TV set? And, she says, I look at the new, and she had just got a smart TV. And she said, what are all these things coming out of this TV set? It's like there's people and they're talking and there's figures and there's all kinds of things flying out of the TV set. It's really kind of scary. So to her, she was actually literally seeing this. And I'm like, okay, that's what I've been hearing. Um, is that smart TV has been being used not just as propaganda, but there may be some kind of a carrier wave uh, doing something too. Oh, the effects of inflation on people of retirement age with Etch a Sketch. But it's too depressing, yes. Yeah. I know you are, but Black Dragon, shouldn't you be purple if you're just a figment? Okay. My gut tells me Elon is a white hat. That's right, YJ. That's what my gut says too. But you know what? I think part of Trump's problem was he thought he knew the swamp, but he didn't. He thought he knew something about the swamp and he was going to drain it. Yeah, I think he really thought he was going to do that. But I think the problem is he had no idea how deep in the swamp he was. He had no idea. He had no idea how deep it was. He had no idea how how dark it was. He thought he did. He thought he did. So when he tried to drain the swamp, and suddenly everything wakes up and jumps on him. Oh my gosh. And, you can't take that back now. But I got to give him credit for keeping on with his quest, even in spite of all that. Although it's kind of a cult of personality. I got to say there are things about Trump I like and that I liked about him being president. I got to say there's things that I don't go for. However, if you're going to pit him next to Biden, I don't know how you could, but what can I say? That means if we have to go through 4 more years, 2 more years of this, what are we going to be like in 2 more years if this keeps up? I'm like, okay, and I'm the person who people ask about that. What are we going to be like? It still feels like something happens that changes things. Yeah, it's like it's like something takes place. I'm still waiting for this because we got a couple of months yet before it actually changes to winter. I'm asking for a mild winter, and I'm not sure. I'm kind of feel it being kind of shaky this year. I think somebody else is going to try and control it to be is going to try and push it to be a rough one. So I may have a little bit of kind of like we had in Texas, where we had to change some things around in order for it to work. Oh, you're whatever color I can imagine. Oh, well, I can imagine some pretty wild colors. Um, so really, I'm looking at it and judging by my neighbor, who is an actual person that I know that's been here as long as I have. Can't even say, well, she hasn't been here that long. Oh, she has. Uh, no, I'm concerned. And is it their fault? I don't know. When I was eating down there and I had the brain fog, could I have helped some of the things I did? Because I did some dumb things when I was having brain fog. I'm not sure. Now, I can look back on that and, empathize because I know damn well that I wasn't really myself when I was having brain fog. All of the legal trouble I ever got in my life was due to brain fog, honestly. And I did get into some legal trouble, and it was all due to brain fog. Was that something I could really help? Not knowing what was causing that? I just knew I was having it. I was trying all kinds of things to avoid it, but there's so many things they don't tell you about food and everything else that can do that to you. In 2 years. Yeah, I think the juice will have done the bulk of the damage, and a lot of folks will be. I'm telling you, a lot of people are leaving. Yes, we are going down. We have actually, for the first time in history, have negative population growth, and that's going to continue. Yeah. Um, I see that too. A lot of people leaving, and a lot of people leaving because of the juice and and other things. And we all know they're building uh, they're building another virus that's supposed to be 80% deadly because the last one wasn't deadly enough, and then it'll accidentally get loose again. Because of course it will. Trump knew what he was getting into. Just majority of the people. Yeah, there are people who think there's nothing wrong. Everything's okay. It's not, what? Yeah, it's really. Can we? Maybe we should all just take a moment and send out healing of the minds of all these people. Just think healing for everybody involved in this, which is pretty much everybody. It's like, I'll ask my angels to get in touch with their angels and see what can be done about this. That anybody for whom this isn't really their will, who might have had it chosen different if they had had free will, if they had been in their right mind, to somehow find a way to get back into their right mind. And, because that's got to be terrible. I suppose if you wake up from that, you're going to feel pretty bad. You know, I mean, when I look back at what happened to me, it was awful. Um, I couldn't really defend myself very well either because I couldn't think, and I knew I couldn't defend myself. Yeah, they'll rewrite history. Most young people will believe it. Oh, yeah, and the 1960s were all a psyop. Yeah, well, yeah. Mhm. Yep. Just like the Holocaust. Yeah, the Holocaust. They try to say that about the Holocaust. When the last people leave, and they'll probably try to say the same thing about the Great Depression at some point. Your fog came with your cancer treatments. I bet it did. It's a toxic chemical. Toxic chemical and radiation. I bet it did. Mine was, I think, I cannot prove. I was exposed for a long, long time to industrial strength insecticide without knowing it, to a lot of chemicals. And there was a time when I couldn't even be around hairspray. I would be so sick. Um, oh, the Georgia Guidestones. Yeah, that whole thing was weird. And then they blew up. And then one of them blew up. I thought that was pretty cool. Yeah. Meditation. Yeah, you know what? That's why I keep saying meditate. It's what I had to do. A lot of times I feel that we are allowed to get sick so that we can take time out or are forced to take time out to look around, and then we have nothing to do but figure out what's going on, you know, because we're kind of, our jets are cooled, and we look around and go, oh shit, is that true? And then we have actually time. See, a lot of people don't even have time to look into this stuff. They're too busy driving their kids to soccer and stuff, you know? I mean, honestly, people have lives, busy lives. They don't always, and I think that's part of it. The part of the reason everybody's got to be working full time now to support things. You don't have time to think then. See, the only people that have time to think are people that are sick, you know. Um, then you'd have to take time out or well, I mean, there are other options too, I suppose, but that's how most working people end up uh, having the time to figure these things out is they get sick for a while and then they're like, wow, that's weird, you know? Um, oh, guided meditations, yeah. I am still thinking that would be a good thing once but the only thing is if people come into the middle of that, it can kind of mess things up. What I might do is have them pre-recorded so that I don't get distracted and people don't get distracted, and you can always replay it. Have them pre-recorded and then come into chat, and have it like a premiere type thing is how I might do it. Let's see. YJ says in the old days people had a Sabbath. Hmm. And at least use that time for spiritual development, yeah. And then it kind of got co-opted by the church and turned into something else. Remembering gratitude. Yes. Well, good month to remember gratitude. Actually, I practice being thankful all the time. I practice gratitude as much as I can. Remember to do it. And I will often sit here and say, thank you for living. I am thankful for, I am grateful for, I am happy to be here in this nice place. And it's safe. It's pretty safe here. It's safe, it's warm, it's dry, you know, uh, meets my needs. I have things that I need that I don't want to say need because that implies that you don't have it, but I have things to sustain my life. I have enough to sustain my life here. So it's actually a wonderful place that I'm in now compared to where I was. And the place I was keeping me sick and poisoned. So that's a really good idea. Yeah, that's what I think I'm going to have to do. I'm going to have to maybe pre-record it and then um, come in, and that way people who are just listening to it can just listen to it. And if you would rather chitty chat, you can do that. You know, so we can chitty chat about it, and then you can always play it back and play it as many times as you want. So I'm probably going to do that. I'm just going to try it, and I'm coming up with all the elements of that to record that properly. And by the way, I was going to ask, does my voice come in pretty clear? Is my voice pretty clear on this phone? How is the vocal quality on this phone? The sound, rather. Black Dragon said he always had a good head on his shoulders. Well, I hope so. Although you might have heard about the chicken who lived for several months without a head. you know? That was weird. Yeah, I've heard about it from time to time that there was actually a chicken got his head cut off, still walked around for and ate and didn't die until he choked on a grain of corn that he couldn't that of course he had no way of chewing. How in the heck did he live? I have no idea. How was he still alive? Nobody can figure that one out. But apparently you don't need a brain to be alive always. So that's another one. Oh, the vocals are fine. Well, that's nice. Okay, good. Thank you. I'm glad to hear that. Then I might just be able to use my phone. Although, like we've been saying, I'm kind of hoping for to get my hands on a decent laptop or something soon, and maybe a Black Friday deal or a post holiday deal of some kind or something. You know, a good time to pick up stuff is when people uh, got a Christmas gift and they're getting rid of their old one or something, get a decent used something. Um, so that's what I'm kind of looking at now. Or maybe sell a bunch of stuff on my channel. I'm thinking of going into that. Would anybody be interested in, you've seen some of my photography. Anybody interested in photography? I mean, I was thinking, um, would you be interested, like, if I would sell my photographs that I take, and it'll be an actual print. It won't be like on copy paper or anything. It will actually be a photographic print. If I sell them and sign them, if I sell them for like $5 or something, they're I think 4 by 6 or something. And whatever they are, whatever a standard print is. If you guys would be interested, any of my prints to put up on your wall, let me know. Oh, you pride yourself on keeping your head clear. Me too. It's one of the reasons that I don't smoke a lot when other people do, is I really like being very clear, and it makes me not clear. It makes me forget things. And however, it is good for mood, and it is good for, um, there are particular ones that are good for mood and good for pain relief and so on, and that's all wonderful. And actually, I find that sometimes I'm in a better mood that it lasts for a couple of days, the better mood, and taking the edge off the pain. So I would never fault it for that. However, I like to think clearly. I'm really a big fan of that. Not going to stop to have a smoke break to recalibrate because I screwed up really. Ma, whoops. Oh well. Uh, that's okay. Your laptop you have now, you got in a pawn shop. Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, you could make mashed potatoes in a wok. Why not? But don't walk the dog. That's nasty. Yeah, me too, YJ. I'm the same. I cannot. I am not one of these hard hitters. Um, for me, and yet that one little uh one little puff, and I am fine. I'm fine. And the effect actually lasts for days. So I'm lucky. I don't really need that much. And now I think it's wonderful that they have this stuff that is legal in all 50 states. I hear that the mood kind, which is what I think we're talking about here, is the company called Mood. It will can just send you Delta 8 and Delta 7 through the mail. So I guess Delta 7's a little weaker than Delta 8, but they can send it through the mail, I guess, in all 50 states now, due to the Farm Act of 2017. I'm thinking, I didn't know about that until just recently. I didn't know. So, but I am so fortunate that it doesn't take very much for me. Um, yeah, I'm very sensitive too. Um, you're not grounded enough to put tobacco down, and actually, a lot of people use tobacco for grounding. Oh, you can't have. I'm just the opposite, YJ. I can't have indica. If I'm if I have indica, my butt is glued to the couch, and that's all I'm going to do is just sit there. That's it. All I want to do is just sit there and maybe talk a little. And if you ask me to do any kind of playing music or read cards or do anything like that, I can't do it. It's unfortunate because that's the one that controls the pain the best, but um, I must have the upper kind. Well, see, the difference is sativa's kind of an upper, indica's a downer. Um, I need the upper kind. Then I get creative and I do stuff. I still do stuff. I can't have the downer kind or it just completely disables me. So you never have to worry about me stealing your stash unless I need to get to sleep. If I want to sleep good, that'd be one way to do it. Oh, wow. Yeah, see, some people use smoking to ground, and David did. I know he had a hell of a time. Well, I'm one of the people that helped him, had to listen to him quit smoking. Hmm. Yeah. Uh, he also, I warned him, I told him, I said, it helps if you can pick something bigger than yourself, because most people will not quit for themselves, but they will for a loved one or a cause or something else. It's funny because we don't really love and respect ourselves enough to quit just because it would be good for us. For me, it was about my voice. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Productive? No. Indica makes me unproductive. Ah, yeah. Indica, I have seen so many. I would go into a party and everyone would just be watching TV. There would be absolutely nothing going on. Nothing. People would just be watching TV and playing with their phones. And sure enough, it was indica. Indica's a downer. It'll glue your butt to the couch. Um, But see, back in my day, everything was sativa. It was British Columbian sativa back in the old days. Uh, so I'm not telling you how to do anything illegal. Uh, yeah, couch potato, indica couch potatoes. Yeah, you're a sativa guy. Okay. Yep. Yes, and then there are other people who, you know what, and it's funny listening to some people. It's like how this guy couldn't said, well, if I, because somebody was offered, and he said, no, if I do that, I won't be able to drive home because I'll be driving and then I'll think I'm going too fast and then I'll put my brakes on and then I'll be thinking I'm going too slow and then I'll speed up and then I'm thinking I'm going too fast. And so he found he couldn't drive. So please just do whatever keeps you safe and that you can deal with. Yeah, see, to me, I had this voice that was going out. And problem is I I really knew that my voice was a gift. My voice was definitely a gift. There was no doubt about that. And I felt like it was a slap in the face to God to ruin my gift. Because my voice almost disappeared at one point. And then I went to a place for a spiritual healing. And the message that I got was, if was that I, my voice, because I was quitting smoking, said my voice would come back when I quit smoking. My voice would come back better than ever. But I always had to be mindful and sing like I was singing to God, because I am singing to God every time I sing. So, yeah, yeah, yep, absolutely. You certainly did back in the old days. That was a gold standard. But vaping is how you quit cigs. Oh, good for you. About $100 every 6 months. Good that you know that. You know what? Because I see those signs that say, don't come past this point, toxic, blah, blah, blah. These toxic chemicals in the vape. I'm like, people are smoking this stuff that you can't be around because it's toxic. And what the heck? What's going on here? You know? What I did was I made my own smoking mixture. It was a homeopathic smoking mixture from an old recipe book to heal the lungs from smoking. So I did something kind of similar. I can't remember the exact mixture, but I think it involved horehound, mullein, colt's foot, and one other herb I can never think of. But colt's foot, horehound, mullein, can't think of the other one. But even those three will help you overcome smoking damage. So, Bomber, if you're interested in that, you might want to look that up and see if you can find some recipes for your own smoking mixture. So that's what I did. And then, of course, you have to roll your own if you do that, if you decide to do that. And it might help because it helped me. I know it helped me. And interspersing them with cigarettes, and then finally just saying goodbye to the cigarettes and saying goodbye to smoking entirely. But the thing that helped me the most was not being around people who smoked. For about 2 weeks, I had to stay well away from people who smoked because the smell of it would get me nick fitting. So, once people were starting to smoke, I'd be backing away and go out and do something else so I wouldn't be smelling it. Top flight. I'm trying to remember. Oh, I don't remember that song, but it sounds like a great song. Karen Lynn, Top Flight, huh? Hmm. Oh, vegetable glycerin and propylene glycol. Why do they have these signs that say dangerous toxins keep out? I don't understand it. Oh, cool. Thanks. Yeah, if you drop it into MeWe, that'd be cool. I drop links into MeWe all the time, you guys, of videos that I find that I think are relevant or interesting or sometimes just funny. I think I dropped the one. There was one recently, nobody could believe that Biden said there's no way we can get reelected. He was doing his getting flustered thing, and he literally said there's no way we can get reelected. And then he says, no, no, no. And then he tries to correct it. And then he goes, we have to elect Donald Trump. And then he tries to correct that. And it's like, my God, this man finally said something truthful. We want things to work out to elect Trump. And we're just like, everybody's just like, whoa. If that doesn't tell you that something is going on with Joe, you got to know something is. Um, extracts from sarsaparilla, like that's kind of like root beer, but yeah, it's sarsaparilla. I want mine in a clean glass. Water-based vaping. Oh, cool. Oh, the petroleum ones, I would imagine so. Petroleum is not meant to be imbibed in any form by a human. That's just crazy. I sometimes wonder, what is petroleum really? What is it? You know, what really? I'm sorry, I have to do this, or I'm going to. I shouldn't be doing this on a live on air, but if you want me to be able to talk, there. Okay. Sorry about that. Allergy season. Um, and we've been cleaning out things again, and oh my gosh, raising dust. Basically, a delivery method. Yeah, for nicotine. Yeah, that's the thing, is a safe delivery method for for your substances is always a good thing. Now, see, I'm fine. I have rested, and I don't know why I'm yawning. Maybe I just need air. Mullein and plantain. Yeah, plantain. That might have been it. Maybe. Yeah, maybe that's it. Okay. So that might have been the fourth one. Um, Colt's foot is also good for that, for a cough. So it would have been horehound, mullein, colt's foot, and plantain. That sounds right. As a smoking mixture, those four. it probably was plantain. So I'd try that mixture and see if that helps. Even if you intersperse it with regular cigarettes, it will help heal your lungs. Foraged and dried and keep it in a tin, that's right. Well, I'm glad to hear that your lungs are healthy in spite of everything. I do not use petroleum jelly for the reason that it's made of petroleum. Oh, you just need a rolling machine. I got a rolling machine pretty cheap. Marilena, you can find them here and there. Hello, Marilena. Oh, Marilena. Actually, it might be. It might be plantain. Kind of sounds like it could be. But I'm sure you can find it in the book of herbs. But said by science to be decayed dinosaurs and trees, I don't believe so. I don't believe so. I do not believe. As a matter of fact, recently I saw something that says that's just a fantasy. It was misnamed a fossil fuel. It is not really. It has never been proven that that is how it came to be. They just, um, and I forget what all the facts were about that, but I'll see if I can find that. That petroleum is not really a fossil fuel. It's not really dinosaurs. As a matter of fact, we can't be sure what it is. Um, although there are people who have notions. I mean, is it actually the blood of the earth? I mean, are they exsanguinating the earth by pumping it? Um, you know, you got to wonder, what is it? And we know there's all this underground, this stuff underground, all of these underground caverns and stuff. And we don't know what was going down in all of them. So what actually is petroleum? Hmm, it's a good question. Maybe we'll find out maybe we'll look into that. Aha, the snowman. Ah, you're gonna build a snowman for Marilena. Why, Jay is a sweetie. Um, I'm also thinking probably one of the reasons is I think there's a lot of um, I think we've been conditioned to kind of screw ourselves up. Um, one of the one of the biggest things that they talk about, that all of my teachers have spoken of as a problem, is lack of self-esteem in people. How many people feel worthless um, and unworthy and that kind of thing, and how that leads to problems because when you feel that way, not only does it put you in depression, but you kind of call that to you. So really, one of the things that we are constantly fighting or trying to prevail against is feelings of low self-worth. So that's one of the reasons I say, please reconsider being self-depreciating when you're talking about yourself or when you're talking about others. It's like, don't be overly self-depreciating. Don't be overly depreciating. Because the more you say that, the more it's true. That's why I keep saying you're creators. Be careful what you create. Um, what you speak and what you write is what you make. And I wrote fiction, but there was time uh, that I realized that the stuff I was writing was coming true, and I stopped writing. And I said, it was very confusing. I didn't know as much as I know now, of course. Your first cup of espresso and an Italian amaretto. Ooh. Yeah, there were tar pits during the time of the dinosaurs. Yeah, I know. That's what I've heard. So, Well, see, that's the thing. It doesn't really quite make sense. I can't help but think that there is a secret about petroleum that we haven't been told. And maybe it's very dark. It might be a very, very dark secret. There's some reason we're using petroleum and not something else. Because a lot of things are very plentiful and you could ration them. Because oil was actually very plentiful but could be rationed, could be metered. There are a lot of things like that, though. Why petroleum? Well, they're constantly finding ways getting rid of waste products. Is petroleum actually a waste product of some kind? Yeah, don't call me late to eat. That's what we always used to say. You can call me whatever, just don't call me late to eat. And don't call him late for the bacon. Well, and here's another thing. TV puts people in a state of hypnosis. And there are so many things we can do with hypnosis. I mean, I don't know how real it is, but I just saw a video not that long ago where somebody hypnotized a person on was it a train or something, or the subway or a bus? It was somewhere where they had to remember where to get off, where their stop was, and this person, and they knew what their stop was, said, "Do you know what your stop is?" "Yes, I'm getting off at this street." And then they just did a few hand waves and a few questions and stuff, and the person had totally forgotten what stop they were getting off at. And I'm thinking, if that's true and people are that easy to confuse, we're in a lot of trouble. Hate to sound like, Donnie, but we're in a lot of trouble. Yeah. Well, yeah, the thing that kind of annoys me though is that I used to have stories about it, ET encounters and different stuff, but some of them have been wiped. Some of them are gone. And I remember telling people about them, but I don't remember the stories. I remember telling them. I remember I told them to some people, probably told them to the wrong people. because, well, Joe Biden, you know what he said? His butt's been wiped. Maybe his memory's been wiped too. God, if you would have told me when I was young that it was going to be like this at this age, I would have. There were a lot of things I predicted, but people being this. Wait a minute. No, I did. I did so. Yes, I did. Oh, dears. I did predict this. I did. I'll tell you exactly how I did it. It wasn't actually me all on my own. I read a book, a science fiction. I liked science fiction. I read a book called The March of the Morons. It was a short story, actually, maybe. Maybe it was a short story. Science fiction. Can't remember the author. However, it was somebody, one of the famous ones of olden days, wrote it. And honestly, it was about people becoming so stupid that they couldn't have cars that went over 25 miles an hour, but they told people that they were driving 65. But the cars in reality were only driving 25. And they actually had to have road signs that followed the cars because people read so slow. Oh, that's a good question, Black Dragon. Why do people who find out how to use water to run cars end up dead before they can get it out to the public? Well, I may have some kind of an answer for that. They try to make money on it. They try to save it and they don't share it with the rest of the world. Unfortunately, this is the way it's going to have to be. The way it is right now isn't going to work. What's going to have to happen is somebody is going to have to find that out and make it totally open source and give it to a bunch of trusted friends, and then everybody drops it on the internet anonymously at the same time in every country or something, all over the place, drops the drops the instructions at the same time and does not try to make money off of it, because you will never live to make money off of it. You will never live long enough to make money off of that. But you may be able to get it through somebody to be able to make it if you just selflessly let humanity have that information. Yeah, it was about basically everything is about greed, control, and money, and who's making money. Paul just told me. I was always told that it was the tobacco industry that tried to kill hemp, but he was telling me it was about, was it Getty or somebody, Rockefeller, Rothschild, some one of them. Anyway, rich guy had acres and acres of trees. He didn't want hemp to be hemp is actually better for making paper and all kinds of other stuff, but he didn't want hemp to be a competitor. He wanted to use trees because he had trees, acres and acres and acres. So he'd rather kill all those trees than have hemp be okay. That's another great thing. So it wasn't just the tobacco growers. You didn't want to forget. Yeah, I tried to do that. I tried to do that. And for a while I didn't, but then something must have happened because I can't remember now. Oh, yeah. People have been led to believe that we are primitive when in fact we aren't. Marilyn, yeah. Oh, yeah, everybody thinks Africans are all running around in loincloths, beating on drums, and yeah, I don't understand that. You were having the same conversation but about memory, but you don't remember when you had it? That's great. That's funny, YJ. I saw what you did there. I'm going to move this because it's kind of hurting my neck a little to lean over like that. Hey, a close up. Wee, can you see my nose hairs? Are they nice no hairs? I don't have any boogie, do I? Oh, I don't have any boogies. Okay. The sheer volume of poverty, yeah, well, I have also heard people say that really, oh gosh, I gotta quit that. Really, when you cut out the middle class and you only have two classes, that's the beginning of the end of a free society, is cutting out the middle class is your first thing you want to do. You don't want a middle class. You want everybody to be either rich or poor. Oh, you're working on recalling memories that have been repressed. Me too. Maybe I'll do a meditation for that. That which you want to forget goes in a box with probably a box with a lock. Yes, your lock box. Is Richard going off? This sort of skips every now and then. It just kind of goes real fast. If you're going night night, dream well, Richard. So basically, we have got so many people now that are so crazy that I honestly, it's been a long time ago now, but I remember very clearly saying, folks, there are going to be things that are even going to shock us. Well, when my neighbor didn't know that we had a president of the United States and not Ohio and who that president was, that was shocking to me. Now, may not have been shocking in a oh my God, sort of, you know, like you might think it would be, but actually I find that it did shock me. I felt very strange after. It was like, yeah, Marilena remembers that. I remember saying that, and I remember thinking, well, gosh, yeah, I guess, even though we've seen Pizzagate, we're still going to be shocked. Ooh, I shouldn't have said that. The algorithms, that's one of the things algorithms look for. Oh, well. Well, but even though we've seen that kind of thing, I mean, we already know about it, that you're still going to be shocked. It's like, but I was shocked. I was shocked. Um, Very strange. And I'm sure we're going to see even more of that kind of thing. Yeah, well, the lockdown pretty much took care of most of the middle class businessmen. So many businesses died during that time. I go downtown now, and there had been a whole bunch of small businesses moved into town. And now they're all gone. A lot of I don't know why they still keep building strip malls. Do we really need 5 different coffee shops on each corner? 4 or 5 of them? It's weird. It's very strange that they keep building strip malls. But then again, if you're in the business of building strip malls, then to you, it's just find more land, build more malls. Who cares? Somebody is willing to pay you to do that, just do it. Defining what civilization is. Oh, Marilena says Cape Town died. Yeah. Well, this is a small town that I'm living in, and it's not dead, but I think the only reason it's not dead is the university. I think if it wasn't for the university, it would be dead. It would have died. One of the guys. Yeah. So, I believe Karen's approach is a good one. We have to try and, if we are to, that is to say, if we are to um, have a positive effect, we might have to start thinking more about how, well, yeah, I guess a meditation would help. Yeah, if it wasn't for the tourist attractions, it would have been it. Yeah. We didn't have something else going because the small businesses all went belly up. Only the chains are left, the large chains like Wendy's and stuff. Yeah. 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 Walmart and Amazon are all that could remain. What? Carolyn, Indians to gatherings. We go woo. Yeah. R1 billion mall? Oh boy. Yeah, only the big businesses managed to stay in business. The ones that had um, integrated into the internet, because Walmart and Amazon are both integrated into the internet, could still do business. Yeah, yeah, we don't have enough malls. Haha. Yeah. You know, what are they're even trying to figure out what to do with the old malls. And I say turn them into apartment buildings. You could probably easy turn an old mall. They have done this in some places. Started turning the old malls that aren't used anymore into apartment buildings or something like that. I mean, there are lots of things, but you shouldn't be buying more. You shouldn't be making more. You should be redoing what we've got because I mean they take up a hell of a lot of space and they become an eyesore. They're just big sprawling places that I just hate them eating up all that land. And I'm sure that this is part of why we're hearing from Sasquatch is, come on, guys, we've got to come to some. They know we're going to have to come to some kind of an understanding because we're impinging on them on their homes, and sooner or later there's going to be a face-off between us. And I hate to say, I hope we can do this peacefully. I hate to say we would not be well off in that fight. If there was ever a conflict between us, even though there are more of us, they're huge and they know things. They can camouflage better than we can. They have so many advantages. Oh yeah, when the yeah. Yeah, when the motherships show up in the sky, it's gonna be like, oh shit. Ah, yeah. I would like to see them all get repurposed too, YJ. You know what? And I could think I could see that too, that it becomes like a flea market. Like we have Hartville Flea Market just down the way here, 20 minutes away. And I love shopping there. I hate malls. I hate them. But uh, I love shopping. I love going down to see Hartville. There's a lot of small vendors down there, mom and pop vendors. It's not all big box stores. So, it has so much more character. And then they have the outside portion where just anybody can come and rent a space for 15 or $20 and set themselves up, on a good day and sell things. And I wonder if maybe we need to get more like that. Oh yeah, a shop in your town that sells flip-flops and that's all they sell? Yeah, where the rent is thousands. How do you do that? How do you sell enough? Well, see, that's what I wonder too about some things like in our town, in a very expensive part of town, there's a shop that only sells popcorn. Yeah, there are different flavors of popcorn, but how much money do you really make on popcorn? How much money can you make on popcorn? And there's another place where you only buy cookies. Now, I do understand them though, because they will deliver. And I very much think that probably a lot of their business is people in the middle of the night with the munchies because they will deliver in the middle of the night cookies to your door. I really think that may have been. Oh, beam me up. Yeah, I've been saying that. Most of us, the minute we got here, wanted to turn around and go home. And said, what were we thinking coming here? See, that's what I was thinking. YJ, honestly, I was thinking that. They have these big places that would be perfect atriums for gardens. They would be perfect for that. You know, that could be a place to have my green roof in. Um, and it's just waiting for the right developer to do that. I just don't see it happening because, you know, but I have tried to drop that into the consciousness. I'm really thrilled that you had the same idea. Yeah. And the stores could become places to live, could become apartments or, Matter of fact, there was a friend and I when we were doing the imaginational business, when we had a little small business called Imaginational, and it was really more of an organization, and we were like, it was an awareness sort of organization. But we were looking into how would one get a hold of a mall and repurpose it so that you could farm in it and have a community in a mall so that it would be safe to do that. Because they would be perfect for that. Cat shit coffee? Yeah, well, yeah, there is a Chinese food store not far from here. It's like just a few minutes up the road in Stowe. that sells absolutely the worst Chinese food. I never see anybody going in and out. Some of these places are a front for something else. Yeah, money laundering. That's what I'm thinking. Some of these are not there to make a profit. They're there to launder money. You think she's as fried as her potatoes? Yeah, probably. Oh, yeah. Yeah. A front for child trafficking could be very possible. Yeah, some vendors are in the club and pay different rates. Yeah, that could be. Oh, and some buildings are being repurposed to become apartments and Green Echo buildings. Cool. Well, that's good news. Yeah, maybe flip-flopping property. Maybe there's some kind of, yeah, there's always, well, what I always say is if you can't figure out why something is happening, follow the money trail and it will become apparent what's happening because it's usually about money and or power. That's what it's about. So if you can figure out how this is affecting somebody's money or power, that's going to explain it. Yeah. Well, that's what our imaginational company wanted to do. If we could have gotten it started, but we just picked a very bad time to try and start that. But yeah, that's exactly what we wanted to do. We wanted to repurpose these places for something that actually made sense. I think anything we do is going to have to be grassroots. I don't think we can count on the government to do this kind of thing. We're going to have to do this kind of thing ourselves. Because pretty much like disclosure, you know how I say we are disclosure, we are the disclosure, the only disclosure we're really going to get until it's ridiculous for them not to. It's the same thing. Everything that's going to be done like that, that's actually really going to be an improvement, is probably going to have to be a grassroots thing. Because I really don't see the government doing that. Oh, the culling period? Yeah, I've been wondering about that too. Since they were calling this the Great Experiment. Yeah, I've been wondering about that myself. That there was a comment about Bomber. Well, I might have told you that. I think I said something like you might be as baked as your potatoes. Maybe you're getting baked like your potatoes. Do people grate cheese in the middle of shepherd's pie between the potatoes and meat? Yeah, you could. You know what? I don't think there are a lot of rolls to shepherd's pie. I think probably you can just make it your own, Bomber. Sounds good to me, actually. Matter of fact, I'm considering taking the pork and rice that I made and putting some phyllo crust on top of it and making it kind of a pot pie kind of thing. In which case, I'll add some cheese, maybe. You don't add cheese to pot pies, but I do if I want to. If I'm making it, I can do what I want. Right. Cheese. It's like garlic. How can you resist putting that in? Well, that's it. But how exactly do you fight back? If we're waiting for people to, pardon me, if we're waiting for people to all of them to wake up, it's not happening. If they're not waking up now, if they're not still asleep with all that's going on, I don't really know how is anything going to wake people up? How is it even going to happen? Uh, mm, oh, you put cheese in your meatloaf. See, I knew it was going to go into food chat sooner or later. Food chat. Yeah, I thought of that too, Jay. Why not just let the lemmings run right off the cliff? Well, we're kind of doing that, aren't we? We're we're not taking the juice. We're not taking the old jibbity jib jab and just pretty much letting other people take it. But um, one of my friends was telling me that her mother had just had heart problems and decided to go take it anyway. And they were trying to say, hey, you've just had heart problems. This can affect your heart. And she ran off and took it anyway, and she's okay so far. Of course, that doesn't mean it isn't going to hit her later, but um, yeah, I sometimes wonder if everybody's getting the same thing. I don't think we are, especially since for some people there is a part one and a part two. I think, and there's a reason you have to register it. I think it is an experiment. I think we're in an experiment. Yeah, no more vampires. Put garlic in all your food and keep the vampires. Yeah, that's true. There's a lot of things I boycott by just not ever buying there. Yeah, yeah. Well, you know, it's like in the end, if we're going to be true to ourselves, we have to let people make their own decisions. That doesn't mean that we're not going to try to help them, that we're not going to try to tell them. But in the end, they got to make their own decisions. And it's part of the free will thing. If there wasn't free will, we'd be in even worse trouble. I guess there are planets where there is no free will. I can't imagine how that must be, but I can't see how it would be optimal. When they tell me that this is a free will planet and that it's not the norm, I'm it kind of worries me. Or I do the same thing, Marilena. I just look at people that ask if they have the temerity to ask me if I took the experiment. I just look at them like, you must be nuts. Yeah. Are you kidding me? I always say, are you kidding me? No, I didn't take the experiment. Yep, it wasn't Black Dragon this time. Well, it's usually Bomber. What what am I going to say? It's usually bummer because she's always making dinner around this time. So, and then from there, we go on down the road of food chat. Yeah, they yeah, they tested it on 8 to 10 mice. And they died. They said, "Sure, it's fine for people." Oh, yeah. This is great. Look, it killed him. Yeah, sorry. Mm, mm. Yeah, grated cheese on top, but since when did Bomber ever do anything the normal way? I know I don't either generally do anything the normal way, so what the heck? You know, I've made things that were complete, like I have never made pork and rice casserole before with pulled pork and rice. I've never made it before, but it's pretty good. But I never made it before. I didn't know it would work exactly, and but it did. It worked pretty good. Only thing is, it's so filling, I can't hardly eat. But I am on this diet, and since I've been on this diet, I can't hardly eat. And one of the few grains I can eat is rice. I can eat rice, but it seems like a lot of other grains really give me like bowel issues. Oh, Havarti. I love Havarti cheese. There you go. Eh, you know what? As long as it turns out tasting good, you can just say it's your own variants on it. It's your own variant. Name it something after yourself and call it Bomber's shepherd pie. Yeah. Ooh. Well, the pepperoni sounds good. I can't have peppers. They really they break me out like nobody's business, and so do tomatoes. But I sure like pepperoni and lots of cheese. And I like Alfredo sauce. And garlic and butter sauce too is good. They have a garlic and olive oil is good too. There's a place that makes garlic and olive oil. It's really wonderful. Circle K says we'll probably eat it with the experiments. That's funny. You just married a proper lobster bisque with a milkless fish chowder the other day, and it's amazing. Well, there you go. Just imagine what the kids are going to look like. Yeah, I always combine stuff. I just do stuff. I just cook and make it taste good. That's what I do. I cook and I make it taste good. I season it and I add ingredients until it tastes good. And when it tastes good, I go, oh, must be done now. Unless I can figure a way to make it taste better. Then I keep going a little while. That's how I do food. And that's what makes people tilt their heads back and go, ah, this is so good, and have a foodgasm. And I think using real food is very important. There are some people that can tolerate buckets and buckets of horrible food, but I really think that once you get to a certain point, it really drags your spirit down to. I know if I try to eat a Wendy burger or a McDonald's burger, I get sick. I can't eat it. It's gotten to the point where I can barely eat the French fries now. So, smuggling or smuggle love. I'd hate to see. I know what budgie smugglers and plum smugglers do. I wouldn't want to try to smuggle a lobster that way. That'd be painful. Ooh, yeah, that does sound good, YJ. Brie and dried cranberries. And you know what's also good in as a stuffing in chicken breast is guacamole, is avocado. Avocado is really good with chicken. I'm still thinking I might make some of that. You know what? That's a funny thing. We used to get crab legs from Red Lobster too, that they'd bring to the soup kitchen. They'd donate it to the soup kitchen, and so we'd end up with lobster and crab legs and stuff and seafood. They'd make it into some kind of slop. Really horrible. It when they made it with noodles, it was good, but when they started making it with rice, somehow it wasn't so good. But yeah, seed related food. I'm supposed to. I think it's a good idea anyway, not to eat too much grain. I find that um, grains now that I'm not used to them, there are a lot of grains that'll give me stomach problems, and it's not just gluten. So yeah. Ooh, steak slice. Well, you almost had me lost until you hit the steak slices part. Kale salad with cranberries and pumpkin seeds and steak slices. Well, now you got my attention. Yeah, it's a mollusk the size of a hand. Oh, that's sad. Yeah. Yeah, that it's nice when you you have a tourist. Your village is surrounded by a tourist place, so wealthy food is donated, so you eat good. We eat pretty good here sometimes. Sometimes the Amish donate, sometimes the places where you get pastured meat and stuff donates. Sometimes we get lucky here. I don't know what they do to the food that makes me go loopy. Like I said, it's not like all of it is bad because it's not. Some of it is really good. So what are they doing to it at the soup kitchen that caused me to kind of lose it? Oh yeah, I love avocado and things. I love avocado. Yeah, a good avocado is a wonderful thing. You know what? I just made some avocado tonight. Yep. I just made avocado with for I had that for my appetizer. All I did was mash up avocado with my what they call house pepper. House pepper is really just a seasoning blend that the cook puts together. Back in the old days, everywhere you went, they had their own. house pepper. And it wasn't really just black pepper, it was a mixture of seasonings. So I have my own seasoning mixture that I made, and I might even consider selling it. There's a guy like Dano's. I guess he started by just seasoning, people just saying, you season food really good. It would be nice if I could figure out how to do it. I would put out my own seasoning blend because people seem to really like it. Oh, blackberries. And let me tell you, if you can get the mulberries growing, because they're still kind of wild and you know, they're not too inbred or something. Oh, your local market donates organic veggies. Yeah, boy, that would be nice. Sometimes we get that too. Yeah. I just went to Aldi's and they had a sale on blackberries, $1.49. I'm like, a pint. Oh my gosh, I got four of them. I love blackberries and raspberries. Mm. Oh, avocado cleans your arteries. Well, good for me. Yeah, soluble fat. Yeah. Yeah, very, very healthy. I also got avocado oil to cook with. I just bought some. Sirloin with baked potato. Yum. I got this $22 um, pork shoulder for like seven something. And it was a huge piece of meat. And I decided to put it in the crock pot and it just barely fits. So I have like a ton of cooked pork now. But man, it's so good. So I made pulled pork and now I just made some um a casserole, rice casserole with it. Oh, really? You can eat avocado without breaking a fast? Right, not making insulin production. I didn't know that. I might have to bear that in mind because I could just oh yeah, bummer, living on fresh or Marilena, living on fresh produce. Yeah, that wouldn't be bad. That's what I'm saying. If we had an eco village where we were producing our own food, like in a lot of these Earth ships, they have an atrium where you produce your own food. If we were doing that, we'd be pretty healthy because you know exactly what's going into that. Yeah. Oh, you have three mulberry trees? Mulberries are my favorite. When I was a kid, I used to love to pick those. We had some huge mulberry trees here. They're killing them by letting vines grow up, and they cut them up so high so you can't pick them and eat the berries. And now vines are growing up them and killing them. I think they're trying to kill them. Dragon, mulberry trees. Mulberry trees are great. Mulberries are also good against cough and cold, I hear. Is that if you make mulberry jam, mulberry syrup, it makes a good cough syrup. High flight. Oh, okay. Yeah, I loved that tree. We had a dwarf mulberry tree in the neighborhood I would always raid. And I get in trouble sometimes because you cannot hide the fact that you just raided a mulberry tree. because you're all purple. Maybe that's why purple's my favorite color. We need to have a potluck. That's what we need. One day, won't it be nice if we can have a potluck? Have this wonderful potluck. For some reason, I can eat rice and it doesn't bother me, though. You know that? That's the only grain I find. I find I can eat rice, and I think spelt. I haven't had any trouble with spelt and flax. I can eat rice, spelt, and flax, but then again, they must not have weaponized rice or something. Yep, you'll be purple. You'll be all purple after you go out and pick mulberries. It's a great purple dye all over you. You know, it's like who needs woad, right? Just smush that all over your face, you'd be blue. I wonder about that because, the blue people, Shiva, I wonder about that, turning yourself blue, having a blue face, and going off to war. Could that partly have been due to Shiva being blue a long, long, long time ago? Because we know, uh, and you'd say, but wait a minute, that's from India and this is from. No, there was a worldwide culture. There's a lot of indications we had a worldwide culture at one time. Yeah. I'm still waiting for my eco village and my earth ships. 3 times the size of blueberries, but they're like blueberries. Ooh, ASCAP. I have never heard of that. Sounds good. I think, well, my people are blue people, kind of periwinkle blue, kind of blue purple. So that's why I was mentioning that. I know of Shiva. As a matter of fact, I might have met Shiva at one point. I suspect I did because I saw a figure like that dancing. And I thought to myself, what in the heck am I looking at? And then I realized it looked like some version of Shiva. So I might have met Shiva. But it's not like we have an ongoing dialogue, and I know that being is Shiva. I might know him under another name. You got a pomegranate and a pecan tree. Well, aren't you lucky? Oh, yeah. Fresh mulberry stuff. I used to make mulberry wine. That was my favorite. I used it to make mulberry wine. I made a real good mulberry wine. Edible flowers. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, there's no gluten in rice. Ooh, two pomegranate. I love pomegranates too. Hey, James Ortiz. Yeah. Superfood. Yeah, food is how we connect. And if we stop eating, what's going to happen? Second blue Indian gods. Well, yeah, sooner or later, the blue people are going to come into it. Like I said, I was doing a remote view over at Max's class, and doggone if I didn't find myself on a ship with blue people who could see me and seemed to be happy to see me. Smiled, nodded, said, "Hey, can I ride along a little bit?" And they just all nodded, "Sure, no problem." Yeah, when you have that's the only thing about mulberry trees. When they're bearing fruit, the birds eat them and everything becomes purple. Everything turns purple for a while. You can't hang laundry out. I remember. Yeah. Yep, and they get drunk too. They let the berries get overripe and they get drunk on them. They start turning into they start fermenting and then you have drunken birds. Oh, if you disappear, look for you chained up in Anne's kitchen. Are you into that kind of thing, Black Dragon? You into being chained up, huh? Hmm. Hmm. Free will with lots of dark control that dumb down the planet. Yeah, you know what? That's pretty much I think what we've got, Karen Lynn, is we were given free will and then people came in here and said, let's see how we can subvert it. Yeah. Let's see how we can subvert this free will thing. How can we get them through free will to do all kinds of things contrary to their own good? And that's what I think we have. Your dungeon, Anne. Ah, that's a good one. We're supposed to be in eco villages, but instead we're in ego cities. I know. I kind of feel that way too. There are people with smartphones. I have tried to say that. People don't believe me. There are people with smartphones, but no indoor plumbing, no running water. They say, how can that be? Oh, it can be. It can definitely be. Good idea, Karen Lynn. That's why I think I need to write a book, so I'm documenting what's going on in all this. Yeah, Arcturians are blue, but there are other people um, from Pleiades that are blue too. So the Arcturians are blue, one of the blue, but there are several blue species I hear. Not but I have seen myself several different blue species. There's us, we're kind of a periwinkle blue, and we're kind of very tall and thin and kind of look like if you take a human and stretch them out. And then there are these others that are bald, that and the ones that I was on the ship seem to have these little protuberances on their head. So that was odd. I hadn't seen them before. That's true. We are going through a big thing in history. We're still around. We're going to tell the youngins about this one. The way that some people talk about the Great Depression and so on and so forth, and the world wars and so on. We're going to be talking about the lockdowns, and we're going to be talking about the all of this stuff. Yeah. And will we be able to carve it in stone, and will we be as lasting as past civilizations? This I cannot say. Ah, was built. Oh, that's very strange. Yeah, too much colloidal silver. But that guy that turned himself blue was also using it topically. So internally will not be nearly as fast as if you use it topically as well. Then you're really going to turn yourself blue. However, the blue color, they're saying it's actually from impurities in the silver. Like if you have any copper in there. She's got short potatoes. She needs to stretch them. Uh, so, yeah, so basically, if we can all just concentrate on getting our ego village together, that would be nice. Cowboy is asleep. Are you? You're wanting your belly rubbed. I gotta show you Cowboy. Here's little Cowboy. Of course, he's enjoying this weather. He's wearing a parka all the time, so this is perfect weather for him. There he is, Mr. Purmeister, purring his little head off. Mm-hmm. Oh, you're watching short films from the late 1800s. Oh, that's interesting. Mm. Yes, Circle K is painting us a picture. Anyway, hmm. So do you think we are solving all the world's problems tonight or just a few? I think we're only going to get a few solved tonight. I think we're only going to get a few of them solved tonight, not all of them quite. So, going forward, I think all we can do is just try and, when we think we can fit it in, is tell people the truth. And if they're not willing to listen to the truth, we've got to let them be and just tend to our own mental health and physical health and spiritual health and not, how can I say, not cause any more harms to ourselves because we're sort of like um, we're sort of like the luminaries along the path. We can light the path, but you've still got to go down the path. And we have luminaries holding the light for us too. So we have to thank them for their work. Yeah, so that's what you're always saying, Black Dragon. Believe in yourself and trust yourself and love yourself. Ah, so I just keep thinking of how nice it will be. And I think maybe we could start that way. Um, maybe we could find a mall. Maybe we could find a contractor who would be willing to convert it. Maybe that would be one way to go, is to to find a mall that could be converted and some philanthropist who would convert it for us. It would be a start. bachelorette's pie. Ah, Bomber made a bachelorette pie. Okay, that's perfect. Quick and not pretty, but still good. There you go. Mm, mm. Oh, quinces, yeah. I haven't had a quince in a long time. Nor have I had a persimmon in a long, long time. I don't even see them. Persimmons are not really very popular. Skunks. Oh, you know what? We had the cutest little skunks at the old place. They like to live in the brickwork. We had hollow bricks in my place that were place is kind of crumbling. They like to nest in the hollow bricks. And I got to see them do their mating dance. It's so cute. Skunks are really the cutest little thing. Too bad about the smell. But, they need that. But really, if you don't harm them, if you don't startle them or something, they don't do that. They don't spray if you don't piss them off. They're so cute. They are the cutest little things. Yeah, they're absolutely sweet little creatures. And I had them coming up to me. Um, although, if I was sitting too near the house, I wouldn't let them get too near because I didn't want my cat to look out the window and see me petting him and maybe start hissing or something and scare him. But they actually came out and did a mating dance for me under a full moon one time. It was really cute. And once they hook up, they spin around and around and around and around and around until they both look pretty dizzy. And then they just kind of stagger around. First, they run and play and chase each other in circles. And then when they hook up, they spin around in a circle, round, around, and round. And then they they stagger away from each other, stagger around like they're drunk, and then pretty soon they're back at playing and spinning, and it's really cute. It's kind of funny. Yeah, I haven't had a persimmon and since I was yeah, come to think of it, I haven't had a persimmon since I was in high school. Oh, pawpaws. My mother told me about those. I never had one. Think of what we could do with that. Hannah, you know what they say if you really want to manifest something, it's not enough to just picture it in your mind's eye and talk about it and speak it into existence. That helps. That all works, but works much faster if you can feel the feelings. Now, this is why I think we've been made to feel afraid of our feelings, because most of us are afraid of our feelings. I think the reason is we can do things with our feelings, with our emotions. Our emotions help us create. If we feel afraid of them, we don't use them. Oh, yeah, elderberries are great too. They make great cough syrup too. Oh, 2 avocado trees? You do? And a white fig tree? Oh, you have some good stuff. Yeah. So, honestly, a lot of us here want the same thing, the same kind of thing. We could really we don't have to have it be primitive. We could actually make our own entertainment too. I mean, we can still have entertainment. We don't have to, forego having entertainment in this village. We can still have shows and concerts and things. Is your hmm, pardon me, is your phone doing what my phone usually does, and just where you sit there and you go where the autocorrect fairy is just crunk? Yeah, skunks are actually nice. They're not bad creatures. You can actually make pets of skunks. People have done it. Descented them and made pets of them. Some people have made pets of them even without descenting them. Well, I would hope you would be. You know what? Food gardens can be very beautiful too. In fact, if I had a place, I would be setting to work growing a really beautiful food garden because there are some foods that are just absolutely gorgeous. Hmm, that's interesting. More than just holders of knowledge, we are light in the darkest places. That's why I said we're kind of like luminaries for the rest. And then we have luminaries who went before us, who lit the path. Mhm. Skunks are cute little guys. Yeah, we survived the last one. Well, that's it, but it looks like we probably had help surviving the last time this kind of thing happened. We went underground, it looks like. Well, at least that's what some of the legends say, is that we were taken underground by the ant people, whoever the ant people are. Well, my diet is continuing. I um, am staying away from, I found that it's been most beneficial to stay away from refined sugar and refined flour and most grains and most carbs, very, very little carb. And so my own personal path involves kind of a keto carnivore, which a lot of people have good luck with. So if you're having luck with nothing else, try keto carnivore. You you might have way more luck with that. And the other thing that's helping too is go to my subliminal channel, my subliminal solfeggio, my frequencies, my healing music channel, not channel, here group in MeWe, that where I post a lot of videos, and I encourage you, if you find a video that um, works for what it's supposed to do, put it in that channel, a good one, because I have found some good ones that help you lose weight and help you. Maybe that's it. There are some that are to break hexes and curses. I wonder if we could play that and kind of broadcast it throughout the planet somehow, that breaking of curses and black magic. Hmm. Maybe we could do that. Because I try not to worry, but really, what I'm seeing in people recently, it has me wondering. I mean, this can't be. If we go into this and this kind of thing, this kind of stupidity prevails, I don't know how society's going to survive it. I have to trust that it will. And as I guess as we keep our vibration up, we are helping the whole planet. Although, from another point of view, we are just shifting ourselves into a higher version of the planet. So a higher version of the matrix, of the simulation. We're in a better band. We're in the premium section. Yeah, folk songs, poetry, that kind of thing. The kind of things you find in coffee houses. People love coffee houses. People love going to coffee houses and seeing that kind of thing. And that's where you usually find it now, or at gatherings. But yeah, do you know people are so happy at some of these gatherings? Like when I used to go to when I used to go to some of the outdoors various gatherings, the medieval ones or the magical ones, the pagan ones. People really like to get together and do little plays and do songs together. You know, there was this one, it was funny because we were laughing because there was this one very small dome tent. It was a it wasn't a very big one at all. It was not a huge dome tent, but it had 24 pagans inside singing, just singing in harmony. And what were they singing? Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young and stuff like that. Southern Cross was one of the ones that I heard when I went by, and I thought, oh, they were doing a really wonderful rendition of it. But so we used to have this joke, you know, what do you call 24 pagans in a small dome tent or something? What do you, I forget what the joke was, but we made a joke about it. I don't know. It was funny though. It was just so funny that we'd go by this tent and there'd be all these people crowded into the tent and they'd all just be singing. It was great though. We liked it. It was beautiful music. Yeah, it looks like they're trying to Borgify everybody. That's what it looks like to me. What? You know what? He just put his paw out and did like this. He waved at me. Hey, I'm over here. My belly is turned up. Why aren't you rubbing my belly? You know, that's how spoiled this guy is. That's how spoiled this kitty is. He expects mom to just take time out of her busy streaming to rub his belly. And that's only because I do. Ta. Yeah, you know what? I met Ta too. I did. When a lot of the Egyptian gods were coming in, a lot of the Egyptian stuff was coming in. I ran into Ta. Yeah. Interesting, huh? Yeah, he's one of the ones that still comes around and talks to people. And Toth, of course. Yeah, and a lot of us, even before Stephen King's It, don't like clowns. Don't like them. Yeah. Um, Well, the thing is, if you really look into the history of clowns, this may be part of the reason. You know, YJ, that's one of the things I was planning on bringing up tonight. If a large part, a significant part of the society is hypnotized, possessed, controlled by something, like you say, has hitchhikers steering their meat suits, are they still legitimate voters? Well, unfortunately, according to the law, as it stands now, yes, they are. And of course, even though we know, like I said, the kind of effects that I had from just eating the food in the wrong place in town, I don't know how people couldn't think. I couldn't think. Yeah. Um, but there is a kind of a hidden history to clowns. A lot of times they were people with deformities or retarded or something, and people would take them and distort them even more. So the markings you see on a clown's face were quite often where they did something horrific to the people to make them even more of a freak than they originally were. Like cut their mouths to be extra wide open, like some of the other markings on a clown. I don't want to go into it. But yeah, they would do even more things to make them look weird, and that was part of the clown makeup thing. It's kind of sad, actually, and very barbaric. And there's also another side of that, though. And somebody told me this and it made so much sense. You know that Norse god that causes all the trouble? I don't want to say the name because I don't want to call him. I don't want him to think I'm calling him. But, you know, the little brother, the one that causes all the trouble. Well, I am told that the way he often shows up is as a clown. Do we have some memory of this? The evil clown is usually him. Now, there was a interesting thing about that. I knew somebody who was autistic, but incredibly smart. And um, he knew a lot about demonology. He knew a lot about different religions. He knew a lot about ancient Egypt and other cultures, Assyrian, Babylonian, and all of that. He knew a lot about that, Greek, everything. He had studied all of those cultures. And he's the one who told me that Loki often shows up as the scary clown, the evil clown. So there, I mention him. No, I'm not calling you, dear. I'm not calling you. We don't need that right now. So, okay, I only want to mention that once. If you want to know, you can just reverse it and listen again. But so so if you run into that, that may be who you're actually contacting. And he had experience too. So I would tend to trust his word about a lot of things. He was right about so much. He was autistic though. And it's funny how a lot of autistic people can get very deep. with things. When they study things, they go very deep with it. Deeper than most people. Mm-hmm. So, well, I have to remind people once again, we talk about they were this and they were that. Most of these beings are going to still be alive. They're immortal. Some of them are virtually immortal. Some of them live many thousands of years. They're not dead. They're not gone. You know, that means some of these are still around. Probably. And obviously, some of them listen to us. They still have dealings with us because they show up to us. How do you think they could do that if they weren't still around? So, yeah. But the way I look at is what they really are is programs. There's based on a real person. Like it seems like we each have our suite of programs we can utilize. And we get sent communication with certain entities, with certain beings. But I think a lot of times when we use them, like the angels, it's like the archangels in here where we are, they're a program that we can use. So, because the angels were given to us, we were given angels to command. So, oh, I know what you mean, Karen Lynn. I'm kind of thinking about it myself. It's been 3 hours, and we're going into overtime here. So, yeah, and I love talking to everybody here too. I think 3 hours is pretty good. Yeah, and don't worry, I'll be on tomorrow at 10. I'll be on tomorrow at 10, and I will be on Wednesday at 10. So we'll be together again soon. I appreciate you all for coming. And yeah, Cowboy is trying to get my attention, saying he wants love. It's time for love. Yeah. And he wants his belly rub. And I don't want to get too exhausted. I got some things I got to do tomorrow. Last time I was really slammed with people. I was exhausted. I was really happy to see all those people, but I was so tired. And the next day I was just fried too for a while. I had to rest the whole day. So, you know, I appreciate you all coming over. I love talking to you. You're my favorite people. And I wish I could see you all in person. That would be great. Person? You're all person here. But I wish I could see you in person and give you all a hug in person. And I would love that. And I hope that that can happen. That's one of the things that I am intending to happen. In the meantime, remember, you are divine and you are creators. So create well and create wisely, please, for everybody's sake. And remember, you can do something about everything, even if it's just for yourself. From your point of view, improving yourself does improve the world. You are not insignificant by any means. The truth is where you find it. I hope you find some here. Usually the truth is staring you right in the face. You just can't quite see it yet. That's every time, hasn't it been so? The truth was staring us in the face the whole time. Most of the time, that's how it is. Sometimes people even say their intentions, and then we're surprised when they actually do them. That's the way it is. So, truth is where you find it. And please remember to tell people you love them. Many, many people will be leaving this plane. And then you'll have to tell them in a different way. And hug them while you can. Okay. I love you. And I will see you tomorrow, hopefully. Have a wonderful day. And a wonderful rest. And good night.